You are watching 2+U Nevada, and we have the smartest person in the room joining us today, Dr. Richard Plotkin. He is a professor in the physics department at the University of Nevada, Reno, to talk to us about a big event this Sunday, the winter solstice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You know, all I know about the winter solstice is that it is the longest night, shortest day,
Yep.
and then winter starts.
Yep,
So
exactly it.
from your standpoint, because you really are the expert on talking about astrophysicists, that word, and space, what is the winter solstice?
Yeah, so exactly as you said, it's the shortest day of the year where we have the most darkness and the least amount of sunlight. So today I always look forward to it because after the solstice, we start getting longer and longer days.
Right.
So we're always in a better mood after that. But what's happening in space is it's really tied into how the Earth is orbiting around the sun. So if you imagine the sun and then you have the Earth going around it,
Yeah.
it goes around once per year. But the north pole of our Earth is not actually pointing straight up. It's tilted a bit, about 23.5 degrees, so about that much.
Okay.
And so right now, today, we're pointed away, as most of them ever point, away from the sun. And so what that causes is the sun to appear very low in the sky. It's not hitting the Earth very directly, the sunlight. So that's where we're starting to feel colder. And that causes the day to be shorter. We have more night. And then if we wait 6 months, we get to the equinox, and then we'll get to the summer solstice where we have the most sunlight. And so it's really tied into that tilt, which is the same thing that causes our seasons and why, things vary over the year.
Okay, and then winter solstice here, and the longest night here is the exact opposite on the other side of the Earth, just because
That's
of that
right.
whole 6-month circle.
Yeah. So 6 months later, we're in summer. We're pointed towards the sun. We have longer days. But if you live south of the equator, you'd have the exact opposite.
Okay, well, and then how is it that solstices are measured, or how is it that you in your profession look at this event and are like, okay, this is super cool, and this is how we came to be. This is how it became measured.
That's a good question. So there's different ways you could do it. One is just counting the number of daylight hours you have. When is sunrise, when is sunset, how much time in between. When that's the shortest number, that's going to be the winter solstice. The other thing you could do, if you were to go outside at noon every single day, and you do this for a whole year, so you have a lot of patience, right? But you go to the same place with a clear look on the horizon, you'll see the sun at noon. And on the winter solstice, it's going to be the lowest part of the sky you'll ever see it. So you measure how high above the horizon it is. And then the next day, it's going to be a little bit higher at noon. Until you get to the summer solstice, it's going to be as high as it possibly could be. And then it's going to repeat itself until you get 6 months later back to the winter solstice again. So the sun kind of moves up and down how high it is above the horizon over the course of the year. And if you can measure when the sun is the lowest it's ever going to be over that year, that becomes our winter solstice.
So how did you become a professional in this, or how did you, what was it that got you interested?
Yeah, it was as simple as looking up. So I grew up in upstate New York, had these beautiful dark skies. And I just remember being able to see the Milky Way with the night sky, seeing, planets and stars and constellations. And something was in there that triggered me. And I didn't really know until I got to college and high school. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to study space. I remember my mom tells me this story when I was very young. They took us to a planetarium and they weren't going to let us in because I was a baby. I was going to cry. And apparently I was just quiet the whole time. And I just loved it.
Oh.
And I still feel that now. I go to the Fleischmann Planetarium on UNR, University of Nevada, Reno's campus. And I love, there's some feeling I have in there. I love being up there and just seeing what the universe has to offer for us.
Well, and what I love is you are now sharing that love. We were talking in my office before we sat down here, and you were talking about how you are bringing a program to get middle schoolers to the Fleischmann Planetarium. Will you discuss that?
Yeah. So we have some funding from the National Science Foundation to do some science, but also we're doing outreach with it. And it's been a great collaboration we're doing at University of Nevada, Reno. So I'm working with the Fleischmann Planetarium. We're also working with a program in college education called Nevada Teach, where they're training high school teachers to put them into Reno classrooms. And we work together. We're working on lesson plans. We go to middle schools in Reno. We're also going virtually across the state. So we've been going to White Pines County, where we have ever been to Great Basin National Park out there?
I haven't. I need to.
You need to. It's beautiful. Because we have a telescope out there that we use at the university, and we're working with the national park, and we're working with their connections to give our lessons out there. And starting this year, we're going to be able to bring Reno hopefully middle schoolers up to Reno's campus, University of Nevada, Reno, up to the planetarium, and we'll be able to do lessons for them and give them sky shows and show them movies. And it should be a lot of fun.
I just love your passion for space. So thank you so much for bringing space to our children too. And you're also a recruiter for the University of Nevada.
For the physics department.
For the physics department.
Yes.
So give us your spiel about the physics department.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we have about 100 students majoring in physics, and we have probably about 40 or 50 graduate students trying to get their PhD, trying to basically do what I do or go into national labs and that stuff. We do a lot of different types of teaching, a lot of different types of research. I'm looking at space. We have people who are doing things in labs like shining lasers into really dense materials to like see what happens in the conditions that are like close to like the core of our Earth or size of other planets. Things are related to how you can make power through fusion. So how can we, have clean energy in these types of things?
How is the focus on STEM in younger education helped to promote programs like yours?
Yeah, I mean, it's so important. It starts so early, all levels, from preschool, middle school, elementary school, all the way up. So there's just every level, anytime you get someone engaging in science. And even if they don't become scientists, right, these are things that are going to be important for anything. I'm sure as a journalist, you're always applying the scientific method in different ways. And
we try.
Trying to get a story.
We try. But as a parent, too, because we were just talking and your kids are 7 and 9. So as a parent, what can we do at home to get our kids interested in space?
Yeah. So books are great. We watch a lot of documentaries. And not even documentaries, just cartoons, things like, I love like Storybots, something we're watching where there's lots of songs about science. Different podcasts, and also just bring them up to University of Nevada, Reno. We have several different museums up there. So many things going on in Reno in terms of science outreach and just curiosity. Try to be in tune with what your kids are interested in and, just follow that little thread into it. Let them lead you. It's
fantastic advice. Fantastic advice this afternoon, Rich. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yep.
You're watching
Thank you.
2+ U Nevada.